Okay, good morning, class. Good morning. Just to make you aware, today's lesson is being filmed for my purposes. However, as we discussed, you will not be on camera. All right? So we're just filming me. You guys said that you did not really want to come up for the participation part and be on camera, so you'll just have to verbally tell me what you want, and we'll mark it on the board when we get there, okay? And I'll remind you when we get there. All right, so to start today's lessons, bring out your iPads and go to Kahoot, please. And we're gonna start off with our Kahoot. Okay, so we're waiting for two more, correct? Not one more. Ben's already up there. Brandon, are you hooked up?
Yeah.
Joey. Ah, gotcha. What am I missing? Now we've got it. Okay, great. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, just to give you a little bit of background here, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I have to be on camera. Just to give you a little bit of background here for this, hip-hop and rap artists quite often write using iambic pentameter, believe it or not. So we're just gonna have a little fun to get into our lesson on iambic pentameter with our Kahoot quiz. Is that Shakespeare or hip hop? To destroy the beauty from which one came.
Wow.
All right. Maybe it's hatred I spew. Maybe it's food for the spirit. All right, we've got some people who are doing well. Men would rather use their broken weapons than their bare hands. All right. I was not born under a rhyming planet. All right. Layla's killing it. The most benevolent king communicates through your dreams.
Yeah, if we were doing the ones who get the most wrong, I think I would win.
Look around this manor, and all you will see is ill-mannered people.
I get it.
Jason, you got it? All right.
Vamos.
Count thyself, or myself, a king of infinite space. Count myself a king of infinite space.
Thank you.
That is Shakespeare. That's actually from Hamlet.
He said that.
Well, I didn't change these. I didn't change the words. These are right out of stuff. A heart like yours that pumps blood and oxygen and insecurities.
Shakespeare.
What is hip hop? I never wish to be the burden bearer, but souls need saving.
Yeah, hip hop.
I think you guys knew that lyric.
Not really, but.
A sword sliced the air. Yes. Most of you got that one. What's here? The portrait of a blinking idiot. Ooh, we're split right down the middle there. All right, that one was Merchant of Venice, I believe. You may smile and be a villain.
Shakespeare.
Yes. When you dance, I wish you a wave of the sea.
Hip hop. What?
Yes, that is Shakespeare.
Please.
Then I hope this take away from my sins. Yeah, most of you got that one. All right. Last one. Men at some time are masters of their fates.
Shakespeare.
Ah, split right down the middle. You should have listened to Jason. Shakespeare. Absolutely. All right, so, ooh, Jasmine took the lead. All right, and Layla. Very good.
That's Jasmine 2.0.
Oh, it's Jasmine 2.0. Thank you. All right. So, not to give away your secret identity, but Brandon, very good job. All right. Okay, guys. So, the reason we did that, it's silly, it's fun, but how many of you realized that Shakespeare was so close to hip hop? You did, Dave? For real? Yes? All right. A lot of his writing comes very close to the style of hip hop. It's just not set to the music and not necessarily using all of the words that we would use today in hip hop. But did you notice one of the pictures that we had posted up there? It says, "You think he has no swag? He invented the word." So actually a lot of the words are the same. All right. So today we're going to focus on iambic pentameter, how that structure works for the poetry, the scripts that Shakespeare writes, and then we're going to actually play around and write a little bit of our own. All right? So Malik's a little concerned about that. His eyes just got as big as saucers. All right, so let's watch a little video first, really quick, on iambic pentameter. It's just a couple minutes.
This two-syllable foot is like a reverse trochee, so the first syllable is unstressed and the second is stressed, as in to be or not to be. Shakespeare's favourite metre in particular was iambic pentameter, where each line of verse is made up of 5 two-syllable iambs for a total of 10 syllables. And it's used for many of Shakespeare's most famous lines. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon. Notice how the iambs cut across both punctuation and word separation. Metre is all about sound, not spelling. Iambic pentameter may sound technical, but there's an easy way to remember what it means. The word iamb is pronounced just like the phrase I am. Now let's expand that to a sentence that just happens to be in iambic pentameter. I am a pirate with a wooden leg. The pirate can only walk in iambs, a living reminder of Shakespeare's favourite metre. Iambic pentameter is when he takes 10 steps. Our pirate friend can even help us remember how to properly mark it if we imagine the footprints he leaves walking along a deserted island beach. A curve for unstressed syllables, and a short line for stressed ones. If music be the food of love, play on. Of course, most lines of Shakespeare's plays are written in regular prose. But if you read carefully, you'll notice that Shakespeare's characters turn to poetry, and iambic pentameter in particular, for many of the same reasons that we look to poetry in our own lives. Feeling passionate, introspective, or momentous. Whether it's Hamlet pondering his existence, or Romeo professing his love, the characters switch to iambic pentameter when speaking about their emotions and their place in the world. Which leaves just one last question. Why did Shakespeare choose iambic pentameter for these moments rather than, say, trochaic hexameter or dactylic tetrameter? It's been said that iambic pentameter was easy for his actors to memorize and for the audience to understand, because it's naturally suited to the English language. But there might be another reason. The next time you're in a heightened emotional situation like the ones that make Shakespeare's characters burst into verse, put your hand over the left side of your chest. What do you feel? That's your heart, beating in iambs. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. Shakespeare's most poetic lines don't just talk about matters of the heart, they follow its rhythm.
Okay, so a lot of information in a very short video there. So, iambic pentameter, what did we pick up from that video? Let's start easy. When was Shakespeare using it? Because he didn't use it throughout the plays the entire time. It is in some of the sonnets, or in the sonnets. But what did the video say? Uh-oh. All right, it said at the very end, put your hand over the left side of your chest. Why? It follows the rhythm of the heartbeat. So, bum bum, bum bum, bum bum, bum bum. And when can you feel your heart beat even more? In high stress situations, if you are in love, absolute joy, you've just ridden a roller coaster, you're afraid, something spooked you in the middle of the night, yes? So these situations where your heart starts going faster, beating stronger, where you may feel it without even putting your hand over your heart, those are the moments in Shakespeare's plays when he switches to iambic pentameter. Otherwise, he's just writing in regular verse, all right? So that gives the actors some clues as to, oh, this is in pentameter, this is a moment of more high stakes. I need to pay attention, I need to deliver this a little more in a special way. All right, does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
All right, so now let's break down iambic pentameter. And let me mute this here. Okay, what was an iamb? Do you remember from the video? Okay, well, let's try this one. Let's go to pentameter first. Let's break this down. Anybody know penta, what that might mean? 5, absolutely. Okay? And then what are we talking about with meter? What is that?
Measure.
The measure, the way to measure things, or measure specifically, as Claire said, the lines of poetry. So we're measuring 5 whats is the question. And we're measuring 5 iambs to make it iambic pentameter. All right? So an iamb, yeah, I'll do it. All right, is 2 syllables. Yes?
Yeah.
We have unstressed, then stressed. Unstressed, then stressed. So if we have 5, I'm going to make you do math here for a minute. 5 iambs, how many syllables within one line, which is what we're measuring as a line of poetry? 10, exactly. All right? So there's 10 syllables per line, but 5 iambs. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. So now we're going to actually look at this a little bit. Now you'll notice on the video, the way that they marked it was a little line came across. It was almost like the heart monitor in the hospital. Beep, beep. We don't have that technology. We can't really bump those words up. And so what we are going to do is, I'll show you how to mark them here. Maybe a little bigger. All right, now this one was actually used in the video. All right, so an iamb, we know is how many syllables? 2 syllables. Do you remember, I didn't write it, do you remember what comes first? Unstressed or stressed? Stressed or unstressed?
No, it's
Straight.
You are correct. Unstressed comes first. Okay? So, unstressed, you don't hit the word quite as hard, or the syllable quite as hard. So we're going to make it a little loopy, droopy as well. It kind of looks like a U, yes? So we're going to make that type of a symbol, unstressed. So then stressed, you kind of really come in and you lean into that syllable. So we're going to make that just a straight line. All right? So we have unstressed, stressed. Congratulations, you just found your first iamb. How many in this particular line?
8. I have 8 more.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, we have 8 more. Thank you for putting the word more there. There's 10 in total, 10 syllables. How many iambs in total? 5. Okay, all right. We're just reiterating a lot of this information. Okay, so I am a pirate. What's the next iamb?
A.
A. So what's A? Unstressed. Yes, Jason.
Unstressed.
Thank you. I am a
Straight.
straight line.
Straight
For
line.
what? Pirate?
Yes.
PIR.
Oh, wait. Dave,
No.
what'd you say? PIR?
Yeah.
PIR.
PIR, Jason agrees. Yes, and why is that, Layla? You've been really quiet. Do you mind telling me? You do. You don't want to be on video. Okay, all right, that's fine. So, pirate has how many syllables?
2.
2 syllables. When you say the word out loud, do you say pirate or do you say pirate?
Pirate.
Brandon, come on now. All right, you say pirate. You kind of lean into that first syllable. You naturally can hear that is the one that's stressed.
Straight.
So this one is unstressed. So now
Straight.
a straight line for which
With.
one, Jason?
With.
What's next?
A.
Unstraight.
Unstressed.
Wood.
Wood. So we're splitting this word again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wood
Then.
and
Straight.
the straight line for leg. Okay, so now if you'll notice, our iambs do not necessarily follow words. Don't get confused with that. It follows the syllables. So, I am a pirate with a wooden leg. All right? Usually, more times than not, the more important words, or the more important syllables, rather, will be the ones that are stressed. All right? So, pirate, wooden leg, tends to be stressed, yes? We're not saying, you know. So, I am a pirate with a wooden leg. That tends to be what's the more important part of this. And that's where it naturally falls into the stress pattern. Going back to the video, they were telling us that iambic pentameter not only follows the heartbeat, but tends to naturally follow the way that we speak as English speakers, yes? When we are speaking English, quite often we fall into iambic pentameter naturally without even realizing it. Or at least the rhythm of the iamb, perhaps not the pentameter part. All right? So, let's try 1 or 2 more, shall we?
Sure.
Sure, thank you.
Yes.
Boss.
Okay, now if you'll notice, these are not necessarily Shakespeare. So we'll just kind of stick that where it is here. You have to help me. I'm losing my mind. All right?
Yes.
So, hip hop or Shakespeare?
Shakespeare.
It's not Shakespeare, actually. Yeah,
Yes.
these are not Shakespeare. Okay, so,
On straight.
you're gonna have to tell me where as
You.
well. I've never done this before, I don't know.
You.
You, unstressed.
Straight.
Straight.
Half.
Stressed on have.
On straight. On 2.
Unstressed on to.
Straight on help.
On help. Hey, does anybody want to help Jason? He's kind of
Unstraight
knocking
on
this
me.
out of the ballpark. Unstressed on me. Thank you, Brandon.
Straight on on.
Thank you very much.
On straight on lazy.
On
Wait,
losing.
Loose. Half.
Oh, we
No,
gotta
no,
cut
no,
that
no,
in
no.
half. Good. I'm glad you caught that.
LOS.
LOS.
Straight.
Lose.
Straight on
In.
in. On straight line. Straight on mind.
Mind, and then the stressed on mind. Okay, all right. So, have to help me, all right? You have to help me. I'm losing my mind. Yes? Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Are you guys good, or do you want to do one more?
Sure.
Sure. All right. I love that. I love that. I ask myself, what am I doing here? All right? You're learning. That's what you're doing here. You're happy to be here. It's raining outside. You don't want to be out there. Okay. Help me out here, guys. Unstressed on I.
Straight on ass.
Ask.
My unstressed.
Unstressed on my. Thank you, Jasmine and Layla. It's nice to hear
Self
you.
straight.
Straight line or stressed on self.
Unstressed on what?
Unstressed on what?
Straight on
Am is stressed.
On straight.
Unstressed on I. My unstressed, they're not
on
looking
do.
very good. I'm sorry?
Straight on do.
On do, just the do part.
Yeah, unstressed.
So,
E.
unstressed
Straight.
here. All right, now let's double check our work here. Not only does it sound correct, but how many iams are we supposed to have? 5 iams. So let's count. Do we have 5 unstressed
Yes.
marks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do we have 5 stressed marks?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does it follow the pattern? Unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed. Yes. Gold star. All right. One last thing before we move on to the next section here is getting into some Shakespeare here. It looks like we're going to have to make it a little smaller. Ooh, that's a lot smaller. Well, it's going to have to be a little smaller. Sorry, guys. Can you see that? Okay. Notice here, now we're getting into some Romeo and Juliet. You may actually recognize these lines. It was the nightingale and not the lark that pierced the fearful hollow of thine ear. Down here, this one. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon who is already sick and pale with grief. All right, so if you'll notice, we still are looking, we are measuring, or the meter, we're measuring the line itself, not the sentence. So, just as we were not worried about words, we were worried about syllables, we are worried about lines, not sentences. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So this one sentence should have how many syllables? No.
10.
One line has 5 iams.
10.
One sentence here, in this case, will have 10 iams. How many syllables? 20, I think Jasmine was the one who said it. So yes, so we're looking, I'm throwing a lot of numbers out there at you, but does that make sense?
Yes.
We're gonna be looking for, each line has how many iams?
10.
No, each line, 5.
5.
So if we're doing 2 lines,
20.
10 iams. Syllable-wise, 10 syllables per line, 20. I'm confusing the matter. So let's actually just work this out really quickly. So actually, do me a favor, let's spread the wealth a little bit. Malik, thank you for raising your hand. You want to go first? So,
Yeah.
give me the first iam, please.
Unstressed.
Yeah, so if it's an iam, we know it's unstressed, stress. So just the first iam. So it alone, there's got to be more, correct?
Yeah.
What's the next part of the iam?
Straight.
Straight.
Okay, which word do I stress?
Was.
Was, okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Unstressed on the.
Ooh, Brandon, thank you. Unstressed on the, where is the stress?
9.
9.
I'm straight on 10.
10?
10.
As in this?
Yes.
Night 10?
G-A-L-E. Straight.
Gale, nightingale. Very good for catching that. This is our first 3-syllable word, but it works exactly the same as what we've seen before.
On straight and end.
Unstressed on and?
Straight on not.
On not. Ooh, Joey, I heard you. Excellent. Joey, do you want to do one more? What's this last part, please? Unstressed on what? The. And stressed where? Lark. And so we would continue on and on. I think you've got that, right? I just wanted to point out that the meter, we're measuring lines, not sentences. We're counting syllables, not words. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Now, let's shift gears just a little bit here. How many of you have ever heard of blackout poetry?
No.
Yeah.
No. Yes, some people have. All right, here's an example of some blackout poetry. What people do is they take a page from a book, a newspaper, a magazine. Initially, it was people that loved having books, and they had some they read so much that the binding was breaking apart and it was falling apart. So what they did was they said, well, how can I repurpose this? I'll create something new rather than just throw the book away. So they started to create this blackout poetry. They select certain words and black out the rest of the page. So, this one for an example. There is room in our tiny house to live this life in honesty and passion. Not at all what the original author had written on the page, but those words collected, reordered, create a whole new sentiment and a new poem. Yes? Make sense? Okay, let's look at a couple more of these. Ooh, anybody brave enough to read for me? Read out loud, please. Thank you, Claire.
I love the magic of childhood, a mad dash through having nothing to do.
Okay, yes. Excellent. I personally like this one a lot. Now, if you'll notice, it gets a little tricky here, but you can tell that a mad dash is a line above the word through. But what happens if the words that you want to use aren't in this particular order? So, if that is the case, you can give us a path. All right, so we start at the top here. You wear me like an old t-shirt. I should be a black dress. All right? Yeah, you like that one, Jasmine? I actually like this one a lot too. The sentiment there for the gentleman in the room who may not know, the black dress is usually used for a little bit more formal occasions. It's something a little more special. And so if you're wearing an old t-shirt, you're probably really comfortable and used to it. You're sitting on the couch, Netflix and chill, or you're out running or doing something like that, sweating in it. Just very much, you kind of are not thinking about it as much. Whereas here, you're going to select it, it's special. All right, make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent, thank you, Ben. So now I do want to show, we don't have to read anymore, but if you'll notice, this is not quite as much blacked out, but you can definitely see what words this person selected. Here we've got a different kind of pattern, but it's a little more artistic. But then we start to get into even more art. People began using blackout poetry to create two forms of art at the same time, visual art as well as poetry. And so I just wanted to show you a couple of these examples here. Now, all of these examples, as well as everything that we've talked about with iambic pentameter, are posted on Schoology for you. So you can see the blackout poetry, you'll be able to see the video. There's some breakdown as to how to mark iambic pentameter, and all of the examples, the ones we used and some additional, are listed on Schoology for you to go to. Okay, so with that said, let's make a poem ourselves. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, this is a page from Romeo and Juliet. What I would suggest, and we're going to kind of cheat and not give the whole thing to you here so we can see. What I suggest if you are working on blackout poetry is I tend to start at the bottom. You don't have to, but that way I'm not reading what was actually intended by the author. I go backwards and I just find words that are interesting to me. And I will mark those words, and then I'll go back and see how does that fit. Then, quite often, the way I do it, you'll have to go and find smaller words, us, in, a, the, and connect those. But initially, I just see, is there a theme that comes out just by words that I'm interested in? So, just with this small bit that's on here, does anybody see any words that are of interest to you that you want me to circle?
We are.
We are. Up here? Anything else? Gotta have more than just we are for our poem. Villain. All right. I know it's on there. I just am trying to find it.
Down by Romeo. More down right there.
Villain. Thank you. Oops, that was terrible. All right. Any other words?
Men's eyes.
Where is that, Claire?
Mercutio.
Thank you. Gaze. Gaze.
Injuries
At the bottom.
above.
At the bottom,
To the right.
All right, injuries. How are we coming? Do we have something there that we could create now?
Yes.
We are men's eyes, gaze, villain, injuries. We need a little more, right? We need some kind of words and such to connect them. And they don't have to be in this order.
We do. We are musicians.
We are musicians.
And then.
We are musicians in men's eyes.
Yeah.
We are musicians in men's eyes.
Ooh.
I like that. Gaze would come next or no?
Yeah.
Made to gaze? You want to keep that whole phrase? Okay? We are musicians in men's eyes, made to gaze,
With you. With you,
looking
villain.
for. We made to gaze with you,
Villain.
looking for.
No.
No, Brandon, take away looking for.
Well,
We are a musician. And
Made to gaze with you, looking for a villain, or
Yeah.
just get rid of looking for.
that's fine.
Keep it. Looking for a villain. We still have our injuries down here. Therefore, excuse the injuries. It's not the best, but I mean, we're going really quick here. So, you have 2 different pages of Romeo and Juliet script posted there on Schoology. Right now, what I would like you to do is choose one or the other, or if you want, you can use both, and complete your own blackout poem. Now, you can start by just doing what we did, but the challenge, the actual assignment is you are going to create it in iambic pentameter. All right? So right now, go ahead and open up your Schoology. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the video because the rest of the class, we're working independently. I'm just going to be moving around, and I don't want you captured on camera by accident, since you all said that you didn't feel too good about that. So, all right, so open those up on Schoology, and let's get started on our work. Okay, thank you, Tree.